Hello, we've got some great information coming up for you today on CityCorner, the 40th anniversary of OASIS and the Father and Family Support Center. Come on back to find out more. Hi, I'm Robin Boyce, and I am here to talk with you about some awesome organizations here in the St. Louis area that are doing a great job in St. Louis. Welcome to City Corner, and with me in the studio right now is Mr. Paul Boyce, who is president of the OASIS Institute here in St. Louis. And I'm just finding out from you, Paul, that this is the national headquarters for OASIS.
We are. OASIS was founded in St. Louis by Marilyn Mann 40 years ago in 1982.
That's right. Marilyn was the person who really said, hey, we need to find something that really helps out folks who are over the age of 50 and they need some guidance and some help on some of the things that they want to do. Was it because at that time Marilyn saw that the needs of folks over 50 weren't being met, or what was going on?
Marilyn was aware of sort of the needs of her older family members and started to look at the Senior Center Network and programs and services that were engaging older adults in St. Louis. And her response was, we can do much better than this. And she was a person who did action as opposed to just talk.
Yes.
She was very involved in the early desegregation of some public schools in New York.
Yes.
She was the head of the school board of Clayton in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And this was part of sort of the educational mission theme of her life, in which she got very interested in lifelong learning, active lifestyles, and civic engagement for older adults as ways to create successful aging.
Most definitely. Tell us, how has it been for seniors or people over 50 with this pandemic? Give us, we've talked maybe a year or so ago at the top of the pandemic, but how have things been going? What have you guys been seeing?
Well, everyone has been affected by the pandemic, but older adults in many ways have borne the brunt of it, because we know that older adults are the most likely to have severe symptoms. Older adults are the most likely to have a chance of death. We've pushed social isolation and social distancing on older adults, and that's created an exacerbation for an older adult population for whom social isolation was already a risk.
Right. It was already, you had groups of people in the ages over 50 who find themselves alone a lot, mm-hmm. who find themselves isolated a lot, just based off of whatever the environment is or the circumstances, or the way in which you can really say people treat older people. In society.
Post-retirement life can be very lonely.
Mm-hmm.
For older adults above 65, you lose your work relationships. Mm-hmm. Often you start to experience physical limitations. The footprint of your life shrinks. And the mission of OASIS has been to expand the footprint of an older adult's life.
Tell us a little bit about some of the newer programs that OASIS has really created to help older citizens really flourish in today's society.
So the theme over the last 40 years for OASIS has been engaging adults on three fronts: lifelong learning, cognitive stimulation. We run classes for older adults across a broad range of topics. It has been getting people active and moving, engaging in a physically active lifestyle. We do evidence-based health programs. We address chronic disease, diabetes, and exercise programs that are really tailored for an older adult. The commercial fitness industry doesn't do much for older adults. They're focused on a different age cohort. We focus all of our exercise programs on the needs of older adults in functional fitness and fun, mm-hmm. walking clubs, biking clubs, and then civic engagement. The way that we engage older adults in purposeful volunteering is a huge part of our work. Our largest iteration of that is our Intergenerational Literacy Tutoring program, which is operating in 15 states. We're in over 25 school districts throughout Missouri, a huge presence in St. Louis City Schools, North County, and in other school districts, Parkway, Kirkwood, Clayton. We're in multiple districts, and we put older adults in schools to be literacy mentors for kids K through third grade. And they provide, obviously, support to some of the learning gaps we've experienced during COVID. So the return to the classroom for our older adult tutors is very important. And then the one thing that's really risen for OASIS as a priority is digital literacy, getting adults engaged in being confident, being
Right.
comfortable and safe engaging virtually, which, as we know during the pandemic, for many people was the only way to stay in touch with others, to do commerce, to reach your doctor. And there's a huge digital divide across geographic, racial, and age barriers around who has connection to the internet.
So
And we
OASIS
work on
is
that.
really trying to help solve that situation because it is harder,
We're a
when
technology
you're not
literate-
used to it.
We're a technology literacy educator.
Great.
And so we really advocate for older adults learning to use technology safely and effectively.
So in doing that, what are some of the things that the teachers and counselors may do for a person like myself who just isn't as internet savvy as most folks are out here? I mean, folks are doing everything online these days. And that's correct. At the top at COVID, it got scary because I actually had to do this online. I didn't understand Microsoft Teams. Oh my God, what is a Zoom? So what are you all doing
So you're addressing exactly the things that we
it's
focus
just scary.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we educate older adults on how to use the internet. We launched a virtual center, education center called OASIS Everywhere. We have videos training people how to use Zoom. We have a help desk that adults who want to engage with us online can reach out to. But our Connections digital literacy programming is very broadly teaches adults to use the iPhone, some of the Android platforms, browser-based search,
Yes.
Facebook, FaceTime, Google Maps. Because getting around in this world, both virtually and in person, really does require engagement with technology now. It's how companies advertise. It's how healthcare systems want you to engage. So we
Yes.
teach older adults to use these tools. We also teach cybersecurity, cybercrime, and scam and fraud awareness.
Very good. I was going to ask you about that. There were a few courses on a previous job I was on where it talked about certain kind of emails you shouldn't open, certain kinds of texts that may come to your phone. So you are helping seniors understand there's some stuff you don't need to open up.
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, the "don't click on it" mantra almost
There you
gets
go.
us in trouble sometimes because we send emails to our older adults who
Right.
are trained not to click.
Right.
But yes, we do cybercrime awareness very broadly, even romance scams.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, older adults are
yeah.
more frequently the target for these scams and frauds than anyone else. And so part of our technology literacy mission is to make older adults safer online.
Has OASIS truly taken on the mantra of making sure that older citizens in this country are respected, feel good about themselves, and are able to continue to contribute in their communities?
Yeah, OASIS and many other organizations that serve older adults are very concerned and focused on ageism, the concept of reframing aging. And that's increasingly important as you look at the demographic shifts in America. For the first 40 years of OASIS, older adult retirement age at 65, 66, 67 was sort of the accepted norm for when older adults would leave the workplace. As we look at the next 40 years,
Yeah.
older adults are increasingly going to be a larger percentage of the population. By 2060, there's going to be a 92% increase in the number of older adults who are over, the percentage of older adults in the population, adults over 65. The workforce is going to shrink. There's going to be an increased need for older adults to stay engaged in the workforce.
Okay.
And as people live longer, the notion of having enough for retirement is going to change. When retirement, the span of retirement goes from an expected 15 to 20 years to 25 to 40 years.
Right. So you're seeing at this time a lot of older citizens either staying on their jobs longer, or they may have retired, but they're getting back in the workforce at this time?
They may need to do something to address income insecurity since there's a larger span
Sure.
of retirement. And also, we know that older adults who are engaged in volunteering, in part-time work, in meaningful, purposeful work, they have better health outcomes generally.
Grace, and basically you can see that staying busy, doing something, reading, getting engaged with people, going out and doing things really is one of those really good mental health things to do.
Mental health and physical health. Continuing to learn, staying involved socially, being involved in an active lifestyle, and feeling purpose in your life. has a huge effect on both mental and physical health for older adults. And there's a tremendous body of evidence that engagement in these sort of three basic areas of activity, cognitive stimulation, living an active lifestyle, and feeling a sense of purpose in your community are real age and not only lifestyle and age enhancing, but disease preventers.
Great. What are some of the things that you would really like to see older citizens right now take advantage of with reference to some of the things that OASIS has to offer?
We'd love them to engage and take our classes, either virtually or in person. If you go to oasiseverywhere.org, you'll be able to find a wealth of classes to take from all of our centers across the country. We want older adults to engage in volunteering. We not only have opportunities to tutor and work with kids, but to be a community health worker and to be a peer educator and instructor in health classes, to work in the OASIS office and help us offer courses and opportunities to their peers. And we want older adults to engage in movement. We do classes in fall prevention. We do yoga that's focused on the needs of older adults. And we're all over the community. We're in North County. We're in West County. You can find an OASIS class in your community, or you can join us online.
That sounds fantastic. What are some of the other things that senior citizens can do to make a difference in this community?
Well, volunteering is key. I mean, I do think that we underestimate the impact of older adults as civic impact agents. I mean, if you go to vote, you'll notice all your poll workers are older adults.
All seniors, yeah.
I mean, there is this incredible engine of older adults volunteering, but I also think that older adults should think about themselves as they're continuously employable. It isn't just about volunteering. And one of the reasons I'm excited about our work in technology literacy is older adults often feel alienated, disenfranchised by technology and an increasing workforce requirement that you be technology literate. We'll help you learn how to use your iPhone, learn how to use the internet, learn how to use email. If you didn't do that in your work and you're trying to figure out a way forward to do part-time work, our technology literacy classes could help you do that.
Do you feel like younger people, the younger generation, can learn a lot from people who participate in OASIS? Do you find that younger folks really gravitate to wanting to understand that knowledge or respecting that?
We talk about older adults as being a source of wisdom,
Yes.
and a source of advice. Do I think that younger people appreciate older adults as much as they could?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, I do think one of the things we need to consider is that older adulthood is something that all of us will experience.
Yes.
And so getting to know older adults and how they live their lives is a very good window into what you're going to do with the rest of yours.
Exactly. And people probably need to kind of pay attention to that a little bit more and really sit down and talk to their elders and really understand that we've got a whole lot you can learn, a mountain of wealth of information. And I thank you so much, Paul, for coming in and talking with us about OASIS. It's a wonderful organization. It's been around 40 years. Congratulations to you on your anniversary, and you're welcome back anytime to talk about some of the great programs that you have available. We have information up on the full screen right now. Make sure you give them a call at 314-862-2933 or go to oasisnet.org. And you can find out about all the great courses that are available for OASIS so that you can feel better about yourself and some of the things you're doing and just get involved. Thank you so much, Paul. We'll be right back with more great information on fathers who are getting support and their families here in the St. Louis area.
Visitors and residents love the St. Louis Zoo because it's free. There's a train, a carousel, opportunities to make new friends, and plenty of fun learning experiences with the animals 363 days a year. So come and experience St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Robin Boyce for CityCorner. Thank you for coming on back. In the studios with me right now is Mr. Reginald Slaughter, who is the outreach coordinator for the Fathers and Family Support Center here in St. Louis, Missouri. How are you doing, Mr. Slaughter?
Busy, and I'm doing just great.
You are busy. I tell you, I've been trying to get you guys on to just sit down and talk with us about what's going on with Fathers and Family Support Center. You all have some really good programming going on that's outreaching to fathers in the St. Louis community that need help. Tell us a little bit more about what it is you do.
Well, the Father Support Center, we help individuals to be more involved in the lives of their children. The services are actually catered to children to have better outcome when both parents are engaged with their responsible behaviors as to meeting the children's needs. And our agency is more like a boot camp for dad. We want dad to engage in responsible behaviors as to how does he spend time with the parenting, his relationship with the child, and not only that, with the relationship with the mother of the child also.
Really? So you basically set up the situation, whereas in a lot of these cases, these are young fathers who are probably not marrying the mother of the children, and so you all are that conduit between those parents to help them act as a team to really raise the children right?
Yes. You know, it's a lot of systemic things that happen when you have a child out of wedlock. You know, there are things that, you know, when the separation takes place, the state has to be called in for child support, visitation, and you have the courts involved with custody issues. As to when both parents cannot see eye to eye and become a joint team to raise the child. So we address a lot of those issues. And then we have family therapists on staff, social workers on staff, account managers, which help find career jobs to place individuals where they can make enough money to pay the child support and take care of the children.
Okay, so you all basically are kind of like a one-stop stop where you can just go, and if, say, a young person says, okay, I'm having problems getting a chance to see my kids, and then the state hits them and says, you got to start paying this child support and taking care of business. You all are the kind of organization that young man can go to get the proper help they need legally and able to get through things also mental health wise to get things done for them to move further.
Yes, and we have a legal team also that addresses some issues with the visitation, helping them to gain access to the paperwork to get them back in court. And we also partner with the state dealing with the child support to try to get something. It's called a right size order here in Missouri, so the father can pay the child support and keep his job and have enough to live off of also.
Yeah, because that can be pretty hard sometimes for a young person who's trying to get their lives together.
Yes.
But they've got this child they've got to take care of.
Yes.
Then they've got the state or whatever legal system that's coming after them for child support, and they really can't pay that. So you all can help with alleviating some of that for them.
When you come through the program, the state will actually do a child support symposium with us every class. We do 6 classes a year. We look at the man's income and what he's based on making to help take care of his child. And we kind of like give them a resource for the information that they need to address all of that. And the state plays a big partner with us to help that man to do those things that he needs to do to take care of his children financially.
How long has Fathers Support Group been out here taking care of business and making sure that young fathers are getting a chance to do the right thing toward their family?
24 years.
Wow.
24
and 24 years ago, what was the impetus for getting something like this started?
Well, I must give honors to Mr. Howard Sullivan, who passed on, our late, great CEO, founder, who helped establish Father Support Center as to his own life and the absentee of his own father,
Okay.
looking at things to address the absentee of a father, some of the barriers that children face when the gatekeeper is not there
Gotcha.
to help the children along the way. A lot of those areas that Mr. Sullivan got his master's from WashU, dealing with a social worker, and he helped establish fatherhood across the country. They gave him actually the title for James Brown when it comes to social work in the fatherhood arena, the hardest working man. So
Really?
God bless Mr. Howard
Yes.
Sullivan. And I would be remiss if I did not say that I am a graduate of Fathers and Family Support Center, and I've been with the agency for 22 years.
Great. So you were an individual who needed help.
Yes.
And what was going on with you at that time when you came to Father Support to get help?
Barriers, struggles, having been incarcerated away from my child.
Gotcha.
My child was at 4 years old at the time. A great provider, but providing the wrong way, breaking the law, trying to supplement an income, which Father Support Center taught me how to, man up. It's one of our sayings there, to go get a legit job. And not only that, me and my child's mother wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Sure.
I kind of had a little reputation in the streets, but I had to change some of my ways and to become more responsible and productive so I could be around my child.
So
and
how
not
did Father
endanger
Support
her.
Group do that for you? What did they do? They took you into a room somewhere
Nope.
and did some one-on-ones with you, or what happened? How and was that more on you wanting to take that step?
You got to be able to accept some personal responsibilities in your own life. Father Support Center teaches personal responsibility, healthy relationship, manhood in relationship. A lot of those things help me to identify my own barriers from my absentee of my own father, helping me to address some of the things that society deems fit as to you are a father, you are a man. And Father Support Center is ran like a boot camp. It's no poor dad, I'm sorry you can't see your children. We're going to make you accountable for the very things that you are lacking in and the very things that you know you should be manning up to. Hey, it's not the children's fault that we have to be parents enough to take care of our children, protect our children, and guide them through this life.
Now, were you receptive to that, or did you resist, or what was it like for you?
It was an awakening. It
Okay.
was an awakening because some of the things that was brought to my attention, I never knew under the roof that I grew up under because of the absentee of a father figure and some of the things that was brought to my attention based on the studies that Father Support Center does to help men identify with some personal responsibilities as to fathers. Some fathers can't get it right. I always wanted to be the Bill Cosby dad.
Okay.
But was my mom there? Was my dad a doctor? Did I have some home training? No, I had grew up in a home with 11 siblings, so it was rough for my mother, and we all didn't have the same father. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and Father Support Center, well, with the therapeutic trainings that they do, they had the therapists there to help me, challenge me on some of the traumatic effects that happened to me as a child in the absentee of my father.
So, at what point did you figure out for yourself, Mr. Slaughter, that look, I got to do better than this. I've got to be responsible for this baby that I brought into this world, and I've got to move forward. At what point did that click in for you?
Oh, the parenting classes.
Okay.
And some of the things that the therapist talked to me about, some of my own traumatic effects that happened to me that made my life unbearable. And I had an epiphany.
Okay.
An awakening that would make a man say, wait a minute, I can do better. I can do this.
Okay.
Based on even some of the things in the parenting, they say, what will you take from your parenting and what will you throw away? I watched my mother take us to church all the time.
Okay.
I watched her get up, go to work, and without a doubt, making sure that all of us had enough even when she could not have enough for herself. So those things taught me. I knew my dad, but did we have a good relationship? No. So those things, the awakening that, hey, I can break this cycle.
Good.
And they would always challenge us on breaking cycles that actually happened to us. I never wanted my daughter to see any of my past. I remember when Kobe Bryant passed.
Yeah.
The first person called me crying and asked me, was I all right? Was me. I meant my daughter, because me and her played basketball together.
Wow.
My dad never played basketball with me. My dad never did anything with me. And my daughter grew up playing basketball with me, but I always wore Kobe Bryant's jersey.
Oh,
And she would wear a Chicago Bull jersey. But the breaking of the cycle, doing things with your children that your father never did with you. I taught my daughter how to drive at 13.
Okay.
And another thing happened to me in this course of my life dealing with Fathers and Family Support Center. I lost my child's mother to a tragic car accident.
I'm sorry.
And we kind of like was at odds about what was my next turn in life.
Right.
And she had 3 other siblings, and it was 2 other fathers. The kids never seen foster care. All the dads got their children based upon what I knew at Father Support Center that could help all of us.
Very good.
Keep the children together.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
So this is an organization that's almost like an oasis where individuals can come, they can get the help that they need. In fact, you all have a fundraiser coming up this month in June to celebrate the accomplishments of what some of the fathers have been able to do. And it's a fundraiser as well to continue to do the kind of work that you're doing. Do you find it rewarding to go out in the community as an outreach coordinator to get folks to come on board and get the help they need with this organization?
Yes, one of our greatest rewards is seeing parents like myself take on the responsibility of raising their children, becoming better citizens for our community. I broke a lot of cycles at Father Support Center.
That is awesome.
Crime, dealing with an abuse issues. Every man that comes through our agency also will be challenged with, taking on an abuse class
really?
against women.
Really?
Yes.
We've got to have you back on to talk more about some of those things and maybe have some courses that we might do on the air here, what you might take some young people through to really get themselves together. We've got on the big screen, the FatherSupportCenter.org. You can give them a call at 314-333-4170 if you want to get more information and our support right now. You work with young women as well, and helping them get a chance to get their lives together. And I appreciate you so much, Mr. Slaughter, for coming on board and talking with us here at City Corner about the Father Support Center. And we wish you all the best. And we want you to come on back and talk more about what it is you all do. We want to thank you so much for tuning in today to City Corner. Come on back. We've got more information for you where we can make sure that you're feeling good about your community. I'm Robin Boyce. Have a good one.